Hello, welcome. This is the deck I played at the Pro Tour. This is Bant Cub. It is a deck built around the engine of Badgermal Cub, the strongest card in Standard probably. And it allows all of our creatures to make double mana. When you have multiple of them, it scales, right? If you have a Llanowar Elf, it makes 1 mana. If you have Badgermal Cub and a Llanowar Elf, it makes 2 mana. If you have 2 Badgermals and a Llanowar Elf, it makes 3 mana. Quite strong. If you have Leyline Weaver, it's taps to add red or green. It's a 2 mana creature. It's called Spider Manifestation in paper because it's a Spider-Man card. But whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, untap this creature. So Nature's Rhythm, which is our Court of Calling variant, which allows us to go search out Badgermal Cub, will untap the Leyline Weaver. You see it. Hopefully, I haven't played the matches yet, but hopefully you'll see a lot of kills that we have on turn 3 include Badgermal plus Leyline Weaver, both on turn 2 into Nature's Rhythm. On turn 3, it's just a clean kill. You go Elf into Badgermal into Leyline Weaver into Nature's Rhythm. Kills on turn 3. Played this deck at the Pro Tour. I played the Bant version like this. I had only 1 Seam Rip in my main deck. I had some other tutor targets, but the deck's been kind of slimmed down now for the purpose of the Prowess and the Landfall metagame. You just don't need all of the random grindy tutor targets before. You just want to streamline your deck with removal, deal with opposing Badgermal Cubs, deal with Slickshot Show-Offs, Elusive Otters, Otter tokens off of Storm Chaser's talent. Quantum Riddler, here's a card draw engine. It untaps Weaver. You can tutor it with Rhythm. You just empty your hand really fast because your deck is just all mana dorks. Ouroboros is our other big tutor target besides Craterhoof. So if you dump your hand and you don't have enough mana to go tutor up Nature's Rhythm, or tutor up Craterhoof with Nature's Rhythm, you can just get Ouroboros, and by the next time that you attack with all of your no longer summoning sick creatures, so they'll have 3 counters, 1 from the Ouroboros the first turn, 2 from the second turn. There's a Bright Glass Gearhulk. It's 4/4, first strike, trample, costs green, white. That's the reason our mana base is so wonky. But when it enters, you search your library for 2 artifact, creature, and/or enchantment cards that cost 1 or less. So you can go get Seam Rips and Unable to Screen and Meltstrider's Resolve. This is kind of our tutor package. The sideboard, we also have Soulguide Lantern and Insidious Fungus. Insidious Fungus you can also get off Nature's Rhythm to go destroy an artifact or enchantment. And this kind of lets us deal with the Prowess and the Landfall creatures through our Nature's Rhythm. It also gives us a giant body, which is also nice against lessons and like demons and stuff, to have this really large creature that wins in combat. It has first strike, it has trample. Very strong card. It's kind of weaker in the Prowess or the Cub mirrors compared to just the streamlined Simic version, but it's quite strong in the non-Cub matchups, I think, to have the Gearhulk package. The sideboard, we have some Rest in Pieces. Interesting, I've never played this card in this deck before. This is a list I got from Joseph Puglisi, who I think got it from Noah Ma. But the Rest in Peace is just, I assume, just lights out against the Izzet Spelementals deck, which is kind of your worst matchup. They have a pretty hard time dealing with this card once it resolves. They have maybe an Into the Flood Maw or 2 at most, and that's really it. Otherwise you kind of get to just shut their deck off. Sage of the Skies is a card I've never played with in this deck before. I just played a couple of matches earlier, and I never got to cast this card. I think it's mostly here for Prowess. This card is just a beater against Prowess. It's 3 mana, 2/3 flying lifelink, and you cast it. If you've cast another spell this turn, it copies itself. So that means for 3 mana you get 2 2/3s with lifelink, which are very hard for the Prowess deck to fight through when there's 2 of them and they have lifelink. Very interesting addition. I'm really curious to see how it plays out. Beza is here as a tutor target. I've not played with this card in the deck. It kind of fills a similar role to the Sage, I think, except it's just weaker against Prowess, better against other aggro decks, yeah, I suspect. Disdainful Stroke and Detect Intrusion, which is a package of counter spells, very stock. Bounce Off as a 1-of in the sideboard is very interesting to me. I've not tried the 1-of Bounce Off in the Bant version. In the Bant version, I just had more copies of Maelstriders in my sideboard, but it's definitely interesting. Oko is quite strong against both lessons and spelementals. The uptick makes your creature all types, which means it doesn't get bounced by Sunderflock. Very nice. Very helpful in those matchups. It's also just a very good grindy card. You flip it over, and you can -6 choose a creature type. Those creatures get hexproof and +3 in vigilance. If you just name whatever type Ouroboros is, which is usually worm or plant, but sometimes you've already uptick Oko on it, then you just kind of instantly win the game in all of the interactive matchups. Now you have this infinitely scaling creature that also just got +3/+3 that they can't kill. So it's a very nice endgame plan, those matchups. You just have more removal in the Unable to Scream. Soulguide Lantern's a tutor target for Bright Glass. Keen-Eye Curators, we made a Graveyard Hate Piece to go get off Nature's Rhythm. Other than that, I think that's the whole deck. The mana base is pretty stock, just a bunch of 4-ofs and then a Hollow Fountain and a Forest to round out the mana base. Yeah, let's get into the games. Fun playing Limited. Okay, we're on the play. I think I know this person. I'm in a server with them. I think this hand is decent. We'll keep. Definitely on the lower range of keepable hands for us. It's not super explosive. We draw a Badgermaw Cub, then our hand becomes great, but we have a Gearhulk and the means to cast it, and it's always nice to run into a friend. They must be from not where I'm from. It's 3 AM here. Shouldn't be awake, but I am. Tomorrow I have a haircut pretty early, so maybe I should sleep soon. I might actually just not finish this video until tomorrow. I might play the rest of my matches tomorrow, so I might have different hair in match like 2 or 3. We'll see. See when I decide to give up. Go to sleep finally. I already recorded a whole video with Prowess. I have to edit tomorrow, and I finished well on that one. You should. It'll be on my channel. Very possible we should have played Hushwood Verge there, I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it too hard, but you should go watch that one. Izzet Prowess, probably what my opponent's playing, honestly. Maybe the best deck in the format. One of the reasons I like this Bant deck right now is I think your Prowess matchup is actually like fine. I don't think it's great, but I think it's decent. Let's see, Badgermaw Cub? Mockingbird. Mockingbird isn't the worst. Yeah, it's interesting. Do we play the Mockingbird as a Gene Planator, or do we hold on to it? I kind of want to say we play it out, but I could be wrong. So thinking next turn, one of our creatures probably dies. It's going to be the Leyline Weaver. If we deploy the Mockingbird here, then we can actually still cast Gearhulk after, even if they kill our Leyline Weaver. Makes me want to play it. If we get to untap with Leyline Weaver, we're just in an amazing spot. Our whole game plan here really hinges on this Bright Glass Gearhulk, so I'd like to prioritize getting it down next turn, even if it kind of wastes the Mockingbird. The Gearhulk can go get a Mockingbird and a removal spell anyway, so it's kind of okay. If we get to untap with Leyline Weaver, we're just in an amazing spot. We can go get Mockingbird and a removal spell, remove their creature, and in the same turn, and then go Mockingbird next turn and do it again. So hopefully our Leyline Weaver stays in play here. Okay, they have another land. Curious if they're maybe sleight of hand looking for a land, maybe they're looking for a removal spell. Even a Boomerang Basics would be pretty unfortunate for us here. Yeah, Floodmaw, same thing. Not quite as disastrous as a real removal spell, but still not happy to see it. It does mean they didn't have a Slick Shot there, which is kind of nice. Leyline Weaver is very nice against Slick Shot. It has reach and it trades with it. Nature's Rhythm. Ooh, it's quite strong. I think we're still just getting the Gearhulk down. Like, we could just win next turn if we deploy the Leyline Weaver here and it survives. And they did just bounce it, they didn't kill it, so they probably don't have a real removal spell. But the disaster, if it fails, is just massive. I think it's just stronger to do this. So yes, we'll definitely go get Mockingbird for one of them, and then I think just Seam Rip. Just Seam Rip the Elusive Otter next turn. Yeah, next turn we can go get Badgermole Cub with Nature's Rhythm, and then we can Mockingbird the Badgermole Cub. And then we can cast Leyline Weaver and Seam Rip, which is a pretty strong turn next turn. And we'll have a Nature's Rhythm in the yard that we can flashback for lethal the following turn, hopefully. This is kind of the strength of Bright Glass Gearhulk here. Had this been like basically any other card, we would be in a worse spot. With the exception of, I guess, exactly Badgermole Cub, but you know, can't replace Bright Glass Gearhulk with a 5th Badgermole Cub. Tapped land, go. Very, very good deal. They might have a Spell Pierce or an Essence Scatter or something like that. Llanowar Elves is kind of nice here. So let's think. We have a lot of options. I think I understand, or I think I found my line. So I'd like to play my land out, tap all 4 lands, not the Gene Pollinators, to cast Nature's Rhythm. Go get Badgermole Cub, target our land. If they try to kill our Badgermole Cub in response, then we can tap for 4 mana, tapping our Gearhulk, which is a little unfortunate. We can Mockingbird something, maybe just the Gearhulk. But we could also do like Leyline Weaver plus Seam Rip plus Llanowar Elves with our 4 mana. Not horrible. Or we can, if they don't kill it, then we can tap the Badgermole Cub in a Gene Pollinator, cast Mockingbird on Badgermole Cub, then tap this for 3 mana, cast Leyline Weaver Llanowar Elf, or Leyline Weaver Seam Rip. Either is fine. I think this line plays into Spell Pierce a little bit, but it's like fine. If they Spell Pierce, we can still Llanowar Elf with 1, and then use the other one to tap and cast Seam Rip after. We don't get our attack in, but I think it's worth it. This deck is really complicated when you have Nature's Rhythm in hand. There's a lot of really, really complicated lines. I was talking to Simon Nielsen about it, and he was like, it's possible that this deck is like doing bad at the PT, but it's actually broken, and it's just too hard for most of the players to play, so the win rate is just suffering. Which is like, I think, a very reasonable way of looking at the deck. It's quite complicated to play through hate with this deck, especially when you have Nature's Rhythm in your hand. Usually all of your cards cost very small amounts of mana, and they do a whole lot, so you just have a lot of options every turn. It's kind of absurd. I think let's target Temple Garden. Okay, here we just have a ton of options this turn. I think I want to prioritize Seam Ripping the Elusive Otter over getting our Llanowar Elf down. Llanowar Elf isn't super important. The only way we can really die is to our opponent having a Slick Shot and an Elusive Otter in play and just popping off. And I'm just going to attack with Gearhulk. There's no way that Gearhulk can be a relevant blocker here. They can't put the crab into play, so we can't like block the crab. If they Wild Ride onto an Elusive Otter, we can't block it anyway. If they Wild Ride onto a 1/1 Otter token, then we have the Leyline Weaver. If they kill our Leyline Weaver, and if they Wild Ride onto an Otter token, then we won't die, so we'll just kill them next turn. Really just don't need the Gearhulk to block here. The attack doesn't do much either, we're just going to kill them. We're just going to like straight up do like 100 damage to them next turn, I think, so it doesn't matter that much. Maybe it's worth keeping back in case I'm missing something, but I think it's more likely that I'm missing something about our ability to win next turn, and we get more out of just hitting them in the face, so that if I somehow mess up and like they Soul Guide Lantern out our Nature's Rhythm or something, we can just bash their face and kill them. We can now tap the Seam Rip to the Gene Pollinators, which is nice, instead of tapping our creatures. Ooh, they grow their otter, that's pretty sweet. We should be able to assemble lethal here pretty easily. Sure, we draw a removal spell. It doesn't actually remove this because it has plus counters on it, but it's fine. It'll work out just fine. 6, 8. They concede. Okay. So what I was going to do there was I was make 8 mana, and then I was going to tap Gearhulk for 12 total. 12 is how much you need when you flashback for them to get Crater Hoof, and then we have 2, 3, 5 plus Crater Hoof, we'd have 6 attackers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 creatures, and we'd untap the Leyline Weaver. So we would have super lethal. I think the Sage is for this matchup, so let's bring it in. Bounce Off seems alright. It's an instant speed removal spell, we'd probably bring it in. Detect Intrusions seem okay. They have a lot of Pyroclasm effects, usually 2 at least. Oh wait, this is not... Prowess, I guess, doesn't have that many Pyroclasm effects. They have 1 or 2. I was thinking of Spelementals. I'm not sure if Beza is for this matchup or not. I kind of suspect it's not. I think I'm going to leave him in the sideboard. I think I want at most 1 Detect Intrusion here. Unable to Scream is kind of middling here. I think Seam Rips are just almost always the better search. You can trim our at least 1 Mockingbird in a lot of these interactive matchups. Keen-Eye Curator is interesting against the Crab, the Eddie Merc Crab. I think it's not great. I think Melt Strider's Resolve is worse than Seam Rip also. I think I'm not a huge Keen-Eye Curator fan. It definitely has its utility though. Interesting. I think I can trim an Ouroboros. We only ever really need 1. We're almost always going to get the Gear Hulk over it, I think. We're definitely always getting the Gear Hulk over the second Ouroboros, so don't need 2. I'd also much rather draw a non-Ouroboros card in most spots, I think. Let's do this, and I think it's either Curator or the Detect. I could probably board out 1 Nature's Rhythm, or yeah, I think actually that a lot of these matchups where the games are fast but your deck is kind of clunky, I think you just want to trim 1 Nature's Rhythm. So an example would be Izzet Lessons. The game in terms of how the game progresses, it progresses actually quite quickly because all of their cards are so cheap, all of your cards are so cheap, but the games themselves actually last quite a few turns, like 6 turns or whatever, or more in the Lessons case, but in this matchup usually about 6 turns. I think trimming 1 Nature's Rhythm is defensible. I'm not sure that it's great in this matchup. I think it's like clearly correct against Lessons. Here it's much less clear, but I think it's fine. It's Hands of Mulligan. We do have the Badger Mole plus Leyline Weaver Splinter Twin, but not enough lands. This is better. We either bottom a land or we bottom a Dork. I think I just want to bottom a land. It's kind of scary to bottom Starting Town. Maybe it's just like this. It's a whole lot of damage to keep 2 shock lands in our opener. Okay, they have a 1-drop. They have an Elusive Otter, you might like Seam Rip it here. No, they just shock and pass. Interesting. Shock pass. Okay, I think I'm gonna deploy my Gene Pollinator into a shock. I'd much rather Gene Pollinator gets shocked than Leyline Weaver, so we'll just cast it into their removal spell. Yeah, they have the nice Burst Lightning, very pretty. See if they have a 6 shot here, maybe. Yeah, here's the 6 shot. So I'm just going to deploy Leyline Weaver, I think, on my turn. Gear Hulk, okay. Gear Hulk's very nice. If our Leyline Weaver survives, unlikely, but possible. Leyline Weaver also just blocks 6 shot nicely. If their plan was just to like stock up this turn, they can't deploy out their 6 shot very effectively. We haven't taken any damage off our mana base so far. Drawing the Hushwood Verge, very helpful. Pretty glad I kept Starting Town over Breeding Pool, I think. Maybe it would have been better to keep it over Temple Garden. I have 4 Hushwood Verges and 0 of any blue Verge in my deck, but Seam Rip in my hand would maybe want to keep the source that doesn't make me pay a life for it, like Starting Town does. Okay, plot another 6 shot. Hopefully our Leyline Weaver survives. Oh, it does. Okay, it survived. That's really nice. Let's deploy Bright Glass Gear Hulk then. So this makes green, and the other ones don't matter, which they make white, green. So we get to untap and have our blocker still for the 6 shot. Second 6 shot is scary though. I think we get Mockingbird and something else. Mockingbird and Seam Rip, maybe. Maybe 2 Mockingbirds. I don't know. I think 2 Mockingbirds is fine. There's 2 Slick Shots, so maybe we're supposed to just get 2 Seam Rips. It's not obvious. Like, get our second Seam Rip. It's not obvious that getting a Seam Rip is right here though either. Like, 2 Mockingbirds lets us go, like, if our Leyline Weaver survives, which it did this turn, so it probably will next turn, at least I think, then we can deploy a Mockingbird for 4 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, untap, we'll have 2 mana up, and we can go get the other, or we can get 2 Seam Rips and cast them, or we can deploy a Mockingbird out as a copy of Gearhulk. And I don't know, it's very weird. I think I want to split them 1-1 in case our Gearhulk dies. Like, if we split them 1-1, then we have a Mockingbird for Gearhulk, but if we lose our Gearhulk, we don't lose our ability to have 2 Seam Rips. If we keep our Gearhulk, we can still get the second Mockingbird. If we get 2 Seam Rips, there are 2 removal spells, or like an Elf and a Seam Rip, then we lose our ability to get more cards, even if Gearhulk survives, which is kind of weird. Kind of a weird spot. I think I like the 1-1 split though. Kind of a lot of rambling about a decision that doesn't really matter. I think it's probably better just to make a decision and pass so we don't waste a bunch of time. Like all of the options are very similar. They just pass. Okay. This is good for us, definitely. Draw. Okay, draw land. Land's not great. I'm going to Mockingbird my Bright Glass Gearhulk. If it dies, then I'll just copy Leyline Weaver. I'm not that upset about that. To untap our Leyline Weaver. Ooh, they have nothing. Okay, that's very nice. Very nice for us. Multiple Gearhulks in plays. Hard for them to deal with. Let's do the same thing again. This is what I was saying, it's nice to diversify here. If we had if our Gearhulk had died, then we wouldn't have access to this Seam Rip here. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go, well, yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, combat, we'll hit them with this Gearhulk. Attack. I'm gonna leave back the Leyline Weaver for blocking Slick Shots still. Definitely can die here. It's not, we're not in a perfect spot, but it's still not horrible. Drawing a bounce off would make me feel a lot more secure about our position. We could consider tapping the Weaver to cast Llanowar Elf and then playing this out tapped for blue. It's a little bit weak into the double Slick Shots here. It's kind of scary. Seems kind of risky. Okay, they have a Fire Magic. That's strong. Yeah. That makes the Slick Shots very scary. This one has flying though, so it'll be fine, I hope. If they have a bounce off, we still can just die though. Or a Flood Mana or whatever. Okay, Roaring Furnace. So maybe they have a Boomerang to pair with this. Because currently it doesn't kill our Gearhulk. You also might just have a Burst Lightning. We do have another Mockingbird, so it's not that scary. Okay, they have a Boomerang. Problem is if they go land Furnace again, then it doesn't actually kill the Gearhulk, it's 1 short. It's be pretty difficult for them to get rid of the Gearhulk here unless they have a Burst Lightning. Okay, they just passed, yeah. I think our spots are really good now. Because we have two blockers that will kill Slick Shots. This could still go wrong. We could still die from here. It's not perfect. We haven't found any Badgermole Cubs, so like there's still a pretty big weakness in our draws. But I mean, as far as non-Badgermole Cub draws go, this one's been pretty nice. We have 3 4/4s with First Strike and a bunch of abilities. Just get one of each of these guys. Let's play this out tapped on blue. So we have a painless blue source for next turn if we need it. And I'm not going to attack with the flying one, I'm just going to attack with the ground one. Next turn we have lethal. Next turn we have lethal, even if we don't attack, so there's no reason to send our creatures in here. They might have to deploy their slick shots to block if their hand isn't very strong, which is not great because we have three seam rips, right? Okay, here they come. So they have to go for it here. Hopefully they're as blockers, not as attackers. Although we have 2 face-up seam rips, so I doubt it. Okay. This is not good for us. This is scary. Yep. Gearhulk has 1 toughness left. They might have a boomerang. Oh, they have a fire magic. That's sweet. That keeps them alive. They don't have great attacks here, but they might just be forced to attack you. Oh, they have a flood mod. Nice. That's 14 damage. You get a 1. That's crazy. That's what I mean. Like, our plan was not flawless. This is a crazy turn. The fire magic was sweet. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, well, we get to seam rip their whole board. Blood fountain, okay. The first 2 seam rips are pretty obvious. Oh, we might have lethal here. Man, yeah, we had lethal actually, right? Yeah, I missed lethal. We could have copied a slick shot with the Mockingbird. I totally forgot about that. Ah, damn. We can deal 9. Okay. I think we'd attack with both. I don't know. Yeah, I think we should attack with both. If they have another 6 shot, we die. It is what it is. That's what you get for missing lethal, you know. Okay, they have to find untapped land plus slick shot, or they have to find burst lightning. GG's, okay. I think that means they died. Okay, okay. missed lethal there, but we got out of it. Very fortunate. Yeah, it was a really good match actually. That was a lot of fun. That kind of demonstrated the power of the Gearhulk there. Maybe our best card in our deck in this matchup, in this Prowess matchup, which is quite nice to just have a huge edge in the Prowess matchup with just a single card. I have to do more testing before I really make that claim concrete, but it seems quite strong. Deals with all of their threats and blocks nicely, and it makes you a 4/4 flying first strike blocker for slick shots, which is extremely helpful. Okay, on to the next match. We're on the draw. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, we have 1-drop, 2-drop plus removal spell. We can also play Keen-Eye Curator to exile a card from a graveyard instead of Leyline Weaver if we want to. We have nice Nature's Rhythm here. Shock this in on green, I think it'll cost us less life in the long run than if we play out our starting town. So they're probably in Elementals deck if they're playing Thundering Falls. Prowess definitely doesn't play Thundering Falls, and Lessons usually doesn't either. So probably Spellmentals. Oh, maybe Jeskai Control. Who knows, honestly. I've never seen Jeskai Control play Burst Lightning. But so. Let's play Leyline Weaver. Okay, they're the Shiko deck. Gwinko is what we called it in-house. This is a Sanctum designed deck. This was the other Sanctum design deck in the Pro Tour besides the Teamer deck that got second place in Tony Portolano's hands, Portich's hands. It's a little awkward if they have a Day of Judgment. They usually play 2, but it's fine. It's a question of, we could just Mockingbird onto Temple Garden. It's not the worst, it insulates us against a Wrath, but Badgermole Cub is such higher upside if it works. Which is really unfortunate if they do have the Day of Judgment. Yeah, it would have been much easier for everyone to play this game. Okay, I think I'm doing this. I'm gonna deploy the Curator. Insulates us a little bit against a Wrath, but it doesn't really cost us all that much in the way of resources. We can still Nature's Rhythm for almost anything we want. We're a little bit short of having the Crater Hoof out next turn. We're 2 mana short, but I think it's okay. They Warp a Riddler. Oh, so maybe they're not Gwinko. Maybe there's something else. Maybe they're on some kind of jank pile here. Who knows? The graveyards are relevant now that Curator's in play. Ooh, we top deck. Let's go. GG. At least I assume maybe they have something, I don't know. But this is not going to be an easy card for them to beat. This is a Mockingbird, that's funny. It has flying even though it's a Temple Garden. They have nothing there. Super dead. Very good top deck. It's the best way to go about this. I don't think we can play around a No More Lies. So you can make 12 untap, 3 attackers. I think that you just do it this way. I don't think there's a good way to play around No More Lies. Is there a good way to... Is it better to get another Badgermole first? Does that do it? Because this is 6 mana. We can leave 2 floating, tap this Badgermole over here, the Summoning Sick 1. So we'll have 2, we'll animate another land to grow our Crater Hoof, and then we'll have 4, 8, plus 2 floating, plus 2 tap that Badgermole, untap, we'll have 3 tap. It is better to do it that way. It doesn't, doesn't let us play around No More Lies, I believe. Oh, hold on. We can't pay colorless into it. Done. 2, 3, 4. Done. No response. Badgermole again. Make more mana, cast, tap this. Yeah, we still play into No More Lies, but I think it's okay. It seems as though they don't have it. No, we don't actually have Leyline Weaver. I mean, if they had No More Lies, they could cast it before the Leyline Weaver trigger, but it seems as though they're F6'd. They conceded. Okay, they were just waiting for us to do it, but I was trying to figure out if we could play around Immortalize. I don't think there was a way. If they were F6 though, I could have just played it out. It would have been fine. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how to board. I've never seen a deck play Riddler and Gwen Stacy, whatever the card is called. I don't remember what it's called online, but it's Gwen Stacy in paper. I'd imagine like Oko is fine against them maybe, but maybe not. Like, it's very possible they have Frostcliff Siege, and Oko's just horrible against that kind of deck. I'm gonna cut 2 Seam Rips, and I think I want to leave in Keen Eye Curator in case they are like a Shiko deck. Could be wrong. I'm gonna bring in Distasteful Stroke and Detect Intrusion. Let's cut all of our Seam Rips maybe. Just leave. Well, Seam Rip is nice against opposing Seam Rips. I don't know, I think let's cut the Seam Rip. Let's cut 1 Mockingbird. I think we keep the Keen Eye Curator. It's not obvious that the Curator's supposed to stay, but he'll do fine. It'll be okay. If we draw it, we'll make it into a 7/7. Sounds nice. The Unable to Scream isn't the strongest here, but it's okay. It's possible that we should cut Unable to Scream and just leave in Seam Rip. Not sure. Feels like they're probably a creature deck though, and this does just like, it deals with Quantum Riddler and stuff. Oh, they're like Jeskai Blink. I think maybe I have seen this. I've seen like screenshots of it on Twitter. I've never played against it. This is like a blink spell or removal spell. Like it's like a crappy removal spell or a crappy blink spell, but it does both. Yeah, it's like a bite spell that doesn't target. It doesn't target your stuff. And ooh, Ashling. Oh yeah, this deck is sweet. Or it just flickers something. So we can not nowhere to run, Unable to Scream onto Ashling here. Let's put this on blue. Leyline Weaver, well, technically it's better to do this the other way. It's better to go Unable to Scream and then cast Leyline Weaver so it's untapped in case it wants to block for some reason, or if they have a split up. In case it wants to block as if it's as if it has the choice, not us. Maybe he wants to block and we can't stop him. Pyroclasm, yep. Pretty good. Draw land, we're in a decent spot with these two. Stroke, not quite. Just deploy the Weaver. Still in a good spot if we draw land. If our Weaver survives. If our Weaver doesn't survive, then we still would like to draw land, I don't know. Lands are good here. Riddler, okay. Let's deploy Riddler. Still lets us deploy our Gene and Lionel Elf after cycles. This is the first time I've drawn Riddler in like 4 matches or something. Kind of forgot he was here. Land is nice. I don't want to shock it in on blue though to hold up Stroke, which is weird because Stroke is kind of what I'm wanting to cast with this. I don't want to have double island in play and turn off my Nature's Rhythm. I think I'll just deploy my 2/1 drops, play and do another Pyroclasm. Play this out on green. If our stuff dies, we still have Nature's Rhythm and Riddler to kind of bridge the mid game if we draw some lands here, hopefully. See if they have a Fire Magic maybe. Fire Magic would be really strong here. Dang, okay. Dang on Leyline Weaver. That's more beatable than Fire Magic for sure. Ashling, okay. Discard Winter Knight, that's pretty powerful. E-Swing, yep, blocks. You drew a land, okay. We draw a tap land, pretty weak. Let's just get a cub. and cast a Leyland Weaver. It's a lot of things they can have to punish us, but we just kind of have to play into it, I think. Let's target the one on green in case you want to switch it over to blue, I guess. We could just not play Leyland Weaver, just hold up Disdainful Stroke, I guess. I don't think Disdainful Stroke is actually good against them, though. I don't know. I guess if they have it, and we die. It's okay. I know if we draw a land, maybe we can get out of this spot, even if they wipe our board with Riddler. Maybe you can take over the game or something. So they can't Winter Knight with that. They can Riddler though, that's strong, and they can flashback Winter Knight with Riddler. That's a lot of looks for Pyroclasm. It's a very efficient way to look at 4 cards. Ashling is so strong. They have all borderless versions of their cards. They must really love this deck. Uh-oh. Not even casting Winter Knight Stories. Can't be good. They already have it? Oh sure, they just shoot our... Oh, you can choose both on this? That makes it so much better. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Killing our Badgerable is not good for us, obviously. Could still deploy Riddler next turn, hopefully. Oh, never mind. Just kind of picked us apart there. I think we're in a horrible spot for sure. Horrible-roid. There's definitely worse draws in our deck. Yeah, let's cast it. We're gonna hold up Disdainful Stroke. That's relevant. Unlikely to be. I think we're just gonna die here in the air, but it's all right. We just we get hit for 6 this turn, and we just die next turn. So I think our plays don't matter very much. It's the right way to stack it. You get to see what you draw off your Ashling trigger before you make your mana. Smart. They also have a Winter Knight Stories in their yard they can dig with if they like. They could have shocked in their Hollow Fountain last turn and warped or tapped the Riddler to do it. They didn't. I think maybe they forgot it's there. It's just hard to see because it's like the borderless version. Although it kind of pops out of your yard on Moto, like it'll highlight itself. Like next turn, the Nature's Rhythm will highlight itself. If we draw Badgerable Cub, we're in a decent spot if our creatures stay in play. Pretty unlikely though. Seam Rip, that's not good. Sure, let's float one, I don't know. If they want to change phases and they lose their mana, sure. So now they can't cast something that we can Disdainful Stroke anyway, so it's alright. Just Riddler, no Aang. This would be really weird if they don't get in with the Aang, I'm not sure why. Okay, they do, that makes more sense. It's kind of funny, they flipped Ashling and didn't use the mana. Oof, nice. Yeah, we are losing. We're very, very much losing. Let's put this on green. Yeah, it's fine. Man, they thought really hard to just have a Pyroclasm there. Okay, yeah, we're dead. Okay, so seeing their deck, I think I'm not super into Disdainful Stroke. It's fine though, probably. Unable to Scream is better than I thought. Seam Rips are still whatever, I think. Just go over the top of you. I mean, dealing with Ashling is important, but not that important. I think maybe I want one. I don't want this Melt Striders. Mockingbird seems nice. They have a lot of good creatures to target. Curator. get out of here. It's got one disdainful stroke. They probably have more 4-cost spells that I didn't see, considering they have Ashling, but I don't know. It seemed very clunky in our game there. It's very hard to hold up so many turns in a row, and they have so many plays that kind of subvert it. It's a mulligan. No dorks. Man, this hand sucks. Okay, this will keep. We have our worst land without a breeding pool. Yeah, sometimes the deck just draws like this and you just lose. Nature's Rhythm is nice. This is on white, so it can't kill our Badger Cup this turn. Let's animate Breeding Pool. That way we can cast a Mockingbird with it. If we draw a Mockingbird, we can cast it and not lose out on mana. Rip, unfortunate. We draw Verge. I think I'm going to cycle one of my Riddlers here, because we just have 2 of them. They're just not very useful in multiples. Draw another land, okay. This is shaping up horribly. I have a hard time winning this game if we draw another land in the next like 3 draws. So our opponent just really does nothing all game. Maybe, I don't know. Actually on 3, less scary than on 2. They discard an Aang, that means they probably have a second one, because otherwise it's just a really nice card. Very weird to discard it. Nature's Rhythm. I'm happy to Rhythm. Do we want a Leyline Weaver or a Badgermole Cub is the question. I kind of think it's just Leyline Weaver. Leyline Weaver with the Riddler and the Nature's Rhythm in our hand is very nice. Very unlikely to survive. I'd put his odds under like 10% or maybe under 5% to survive. They don't flip Ashling, so they want to cast multiple 2-mana spells probably. Oh. Well, that seems like nonsensical. You could have just cast Riddler with the Ashling mana, maybe a misclick. Could have just saved 1 mana here. Yep. Weaver down. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Oh well. It's not a mana tapping thing, it's not the way that they were tapped, right? Cost red? Yeah. Oh, it's... Their Verges aren't online. Sure. Okay. That makes more sense. I forgot that these don't turn on. Okay. Alright, this time I'm gonna go get Badgermole Cub. And let's target this, I think. We could cast our Riddler, but I want to save our Riddler to warp in next turn and use it with Nature's Rhythm to go get Gear Hulk if possible. Which we can do if we draw a land or if our Badgermole Cub survives. Both are possible. Oh, this costs blue to flip, not red to flip. Never mind, our opponent's play didn't make sense then. I thought it cost red. I think they just misclicked then. Let's see, they have a Day of Judgment or something maybe? Ultima. Wow, oh. God damn. Okay. This is really, really strong. So we were in a really good spot there actually, but now we are in a very bad spot. Complete opposite. Okay. I mean, if they didn't have so many cards in hand, it wouldn't be the worst, but they just have a million cards. Because we can't just start hard casting Riddlers and drawing 2. I found a land, so we were kind of sitting there with a mana advantage and not much else, and now our opponent has the same amount of mana as us and just like 5 times as many cards. They hard cast a Riddler, that's actually not very scary. What if their cards are all just really bad or something? Okay, Crater Hoof was definitely the worst draw, not close. Like almost always. Because it's also going to shut off our... let's just play out this guy. I don't care if we take 4 in combat. It turns off our ability to have Quantum Riddler draw 2, because it's just stuck in our hand. Ashling is fine. The deck is very pretty. It's cool. Winter Knight, that's strong. They get in for 4, they're just passing after that? It's not a very strong turn. I wonder if they're holding up like a... Let's say consult the star charts, I guess that doesn't make a ton of sense. In their deck, they don't seem like a consult the star charts kind of deck. Okay, well we have a Badger Mole Cub, that's strong. We get to make a bunch of mana. Okay, he resolves. Let's see if he sticks around. He does. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Craterhoof Behemoth. Huh. It's 6 creatures plus 9 is 23. Is that right? 12 plus 9 is 21. Exactly lethal if they have nothing. If they have nothing or low, but I guess let's do it. I don't know. We won't die on the backswing probably. Sorry, Craterhoof Behemoth, for ever doubting you. I shouldn't have said it was the worst draw. It was actually the best draw ever. Wonder what our opponent has. It's like anything keeps them alive here. We have 6 creatures, so that's 12 damage because we have 2 attackers, and we have 9 total power between them. So that leaves us at 21 damage. They have a 1/3, which leaves them exactly at 0 currently. They have nothing. Bonk. If they have like a Lightning Helix or a Get Lost or a creature with toughness, then they survive. Okay, here comes something. A Get Lost. That's pretty strong. They go to 8. We get to draw 2 off Riddler next turn if it survives. It would be very unfortunate to get Pyroclasm here. It's funny how long they thought. It's also very funny that they didn't blow up our Riddler. I guess the Riddler didn't draw 2 on our draw step, so it kind of makes sense. It's also interesting, they blew up the Craterhoof instead of the Riddler, which means they're maybe just afraid of the Craterhoof attacking next turn, but Riddler draws 2 cards this turn. Perhaps they have another removal spell, like an Ultima or something, and they're just killing the one that deals more damage. It's possible. If they have an Ultima, it's actually not the worst for us. We have a Riddler in exile, and we have 2 Nature's Rhythms in our yard. We actually have a decent amount of cards compared to them. We've kind of caught up through our Riddlers, and they're like 4 turns in a row just doing nothing here. They had Ultima, and then it probably wasn't 4 turns, probably like 3 turns. If you include this turn, just not really doing anything, it's just playing out a 4/6, playing out a 1/3, playing a Get Lost. Let's see what they do here, though. This is kind of the crucial turn of the game. This is the turning point. Although I thought it was the Ultima for a second, I kind of forgot that like Riddler's kind of broken. I haven't drawn it and cast it in a while. Our Riddlers are a lot better than theirs because we have way less cards in our hand, and we get to play them out way easier, and our attacks are more valuable. So even though we both have Riddler, ours is kind of carrying. I love this art of Riddler too. They're just really deep in the tank on what color of mana to make. Having to fill this space with nonsense. Okay, maybe an Ultima or something. Shiko, oh yeah, I love Shiko. You get to flicker Shiko and kill Quantum Riddler? No, they can't kill Quantum Riddler, they can kill Badger Mole Cub. And they can Get Lost Quantum Riddler. very cool play. Also probably game winning. I can't imagine we can really beat that. So now they have 2 flyers. Yeah, this deck is awesome. They have a land. And they're shocking. They have more? Come on. Leave me alone. How are you more? What could you even have for 3 mana here? Like a Tidebinder? The elf is completely useless, so that's not good. Let's cast Quantum Riddler. I don't think there's anything worth Nature's Rhythming for. We really just need like any turn here that they did something super impactful. We need them to do something a little bit less impactful, and we would have pretty easily won. I think we're just like just short on a bunch of different ways here. In a bunch of different ways, rather. I mean, if they have nothing, we're gonna survive here and probably win next turn. It's just not what they have. They just don't have nothing. They didn't shock in their land for no reason there. Yeah, here's Zang, and that's just lethal. GG's. Okay, tight. Yeah, very close. We really just needed we just need something really, I don't know. We need him not to have the Get Lost, or not to have like the 3rd Riddler, or not to have the Ashling, or not to have the Shiko, or not to have the Blink spell. Like just any one of their cards, if it had just been a different card, I think we would have won. And that's just how the mid-range matchups go for this deck. It's like you win the games when they don't have that one piece, you lose the games where they do. Not much you can do, I don't know. Like that game, there's probably something we could have done. We had a lot of choices in that game, but in general, those kind of games where they just have everything, it's pretty hard to win. I think maybe we could have played around the Ultima much better, especially in open deck list. Okay, sounds fine. Unfortunate if our elf dies, but oh well. I think I'm gonna deploy Gene Pollinator first. Because if it dies, it's less disastrous. That might be wrong, though. If we play out the Llanowar Elf, then we could play Leyline Weaver next turn if we don't find a land. It's a little bit more valuable than 2 Gene Pollinators. Okay, I convinced myself. Llanowar Elf it is. We can't make like blue next turn if we wanted to do that with a Mockingbird, but I don't think we would even if we drew a Mockingbird here. Uh-oh. Another blue-red deck. Hopefully our elf survives. They're thinking elf down. Very sad. And aha! I'm a genius. I think our hand's a keep even against a blue-red deck. Our hand is just really strong. If we draw land here, we just have a kind of nuts hand. Even if we don't draw a land, our hand is fine. It's not great if we don't, but we're on the play. We have time. If they're killing our elves, it means they're not progressing their game. They're bored. Another Jeskai deck? Damn. It's like the 5th Jeskai deck I've faced today. I don't think I've faced Jeskai in like a month since this. I wonder if somebody just posted a video on it or something. Okay, here's Gene. Gene resolves, okay. There's a Keen Eye Curator. If they are a control deck, then the Keen Eye Curator could become a really big problem for them, hopefully. There's only 2 types in the yard right now, and like, for most other types to hit the yard, it would have to kill Keen Eye Curator. Okay, Ashling, wow, they're like another Elementals deck. I wonder if they're the same deck we just faced last round. Could they put a 3rd type in the yard? Let's kill Ashling. That cannot be allowed to sit and play. We will just die to it. We're gonna have a hard time killing our Keen Eye Curator, I suspect. Let's deploy Gene Pollinator and play a tap land. And attack with just this. I'm gonna use this one to exile something from the graveyard. Yeah, the only way we have to put another type in the yard, I believe, is Nature's Rhythm, which we wouldn't want to exile to Keen Eye Curator. Maybe we will. We'll see. But I guess Bright Glass Gearhole, if that somehow enters the graveyard, that we could use. Also Gene Pollinator. If Gene Pollinator dies, that's a valid way to get another type in the yard. Pyroclasm or something maybe. Let's see what they have here. They have a Legend of Kuruk. That's quite strong, although we are putting a lot of pressure on. They have to make a board changing play soon. So they could probably they get to look at 6 cards before they play a card. They get to look at 2 draw, scry 2 draw. Yeah, they get to look at 7 cards. Although they double topped, that can't be good for us. I don't think we have any way of killing Gene Pollinator here. Definitely not with our banger top deck of a land. Let's put this on blue in case we get board swept and we draw a Riddler. Attack for 5. Go ahead. Not a very strong turn. We have to try this Jeskai deck next. They might actually be the Gwinko deck, not the the Blink version. Because Gwinko, just like straight Gwinko, played the Legend of Kuruk in Seam Rips and stuff. It never played Burst Lightning as far as I'm aware, but it's a very reasonable card to play. It seems like maybe you'd want Torch the Tower more when you have cards like these in your deck. Like, you just like make tokens of the backside of Kuruk and things, I don't know. But Burst is kickable, is nice. I think you can actually go face pretty reasonably in this deck when you're playing Aang and Gwen Stacy and Shiko and Helix. You just burn your opponent out sometimes and they just die to a bunch of burn spells, so Burst Lightning is reasonable in that sense. A little bit better than Thunder Magic probably. Okay, here's a Riddler. Not the strongest Riddler considering they have 3 cards in their hand. Kind of weird to top on Kuruk and then just cast a 3/5. There are 3 types under the Kino Curator. Ooh, we draw our own Riddler. Very strong. Let's warp this one, I think. Ooh, another one. They stack. It's good to have multiple. Okay. Let's just deploy our entire hand, I guess. Maybe we don't want to play out the Mockingbird, we can just hold on to that one. Oh, wrong color. There's no way to draw a card here, unfortunately, or we could draw 3 cards. It's still good though, I don't know. Our spot is still fine. Much better after finding the Riddlers, obviously. Anytime they cast a spell, they make a 1/1 that can't block unless they're blocking a spirit. This kind of looks like a spirit, because it's a Spire Avatar. This guy's a Raccoon Scout. So it shouldn't F6 because of Curator. Ooh, we definitely want to eat that. It's also the type we're looking for too. I doubt they'll let us, they'll probably just instantly cast it back. But that would give us the 4th type to activate, make Curator into a 7/9. They do discard at least 1, if not 2 cards here, so they might just give us the type anyway. Discard Shiko, that's scary. I don't know, I mean, if they flashback Winter Night, obviously not great for us, but it's not the worst. We're in a pretty good spot afterwards. Yep, that's fine. They remove one of their blockers. We really just need to find Badgermole Cub, and we should be able to just kind of win the game on the spot. Just a ton of mana. It's kind of awkward to have 3 Gene Pollinators and no Llanowar Elves. Makes our mana just more awkward, it makes our attacks worse, but discard 2 Shikos. I guess they just don't want to put anything in the yard because of Keynote Curator, so it's actually not that scary. Another land, see if they have a Pyroclasm or something. Oh, they have Gwen Stacy. Okay. It looks like they are just the same deck as before because they have Riddler. XL Aang. Uh-oh. This attack is really aggressive if they make it. Yeah, that makes sense. That'd be kind of a crazy attack. I mean, they could flip this and maybe kill us next turn or something, I don't know. Bajamel Cup? Lion or Elf? That's infinitely worse than a Bajamel Cup. We could copy Avatar Kuruk. With this, I think it costs 4 to copy, I could be wrong. I don't know for sure, I'm pretty sure it costs 4. We could copy Nia. Is what it's called? Naya? It feels weird to call it Naya because it's, you know, N-A-Y-A, like the color shard. But I think I want to deploy a Llanowar Elf and then deploy a Quantum Riddler. Just dig for a Bajamel Cup here to let us kind of pop off. No. More lands, definitely not what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There's no possible way to cast this Riddler and draw 2 here, I believe. Unless, oh, I guess there is. It's not a great way, but we could copy something for 1 mana and then do it and draw 3. It's not the worst. Let's try it. I want to see if this lets me copy the Avatar. I don't think it will. No, okay. Let's copy Llanowar Elf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Guess we'll tap here. Keep our Riddlers as blockers. Response. Untap the ley line, draw 3. There's our right on timer Bajamel Cup. Now Bajamel Cup doesn't even do anything. We don't have a Nature's Rhythm running or a bunch of spells to chain. It does something. I guess Mockingbird can let us copy Quantum Riddler and keep storming off if we don't draw land. We'll wait to draw 4 cards. Pretty close to taking the extra turn with Kuruk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, they're kind of a ways. This is going to eat our Leyline Weaver, unfortunately. Maybe hits our Curator, I guess. Oh, should have eaten their Shiko out of the yard. I don't think it matters. I missed removing my yield right before I did it. I guess it's fine. Maybe having the blocker up is actually better. The spirit tokens are unblockable. I have to be aware of that. I don't think anything in our deck is a spirit. Shiko is randomly a spirit. Oko in our sideboard can make things into spirits. I guess the only way we have to make spirits though. I guess we can Mockingbird their spirits and block that way. I assume that if we have to pass the turn though that we're gonna die, so I don't know if it matters very much. I think we have to kind of win on our turn. To find a Nature's Rhythm or a Crater Hoof or something. They have a lot of cards in their hand and they're not really doing anything. They're just drawing more cards and discarding lands. Okay, can't block these. Actually not very scary, I guess, if they didn't deal with our Riddlers. Maybe we can survive a turn. It's a little scary into the Avatar Kuruk and like they probably have Lightning Helixes. There's a Nature's Rhythm, that's quite nice. Forest, and I guess we'll tap this. Bajamel Cub. Let's target Hushwood Verge. Resolves, okay, very nice. Let's continue. Let's Mockingbird. X is 1, yeah. We'll copy Bajamel Cub again if they allow it. If they don't, I'll just copy Naya probably. Or maybe Leyline Weaver. Because Leyline Weaver lets our okay, doesn't matter. So say we can copy Leyline Weaver and then we can tap it to Gene Pollinator, cast Rhythm, and untap it and tap it to another Gene Pollinator. Animate here. Okay, let that resolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If they like stifle the trigger on our Crater Hoof, we can flash this back and go get Gear Hulk, and then Gear Hulk can go get Mockingbird, and we can Mockingbird and copy Crater Hoof again. Kind of a nice play. They have Aang. Aang isn't going to stop us, so that's fine. Aang is like a pain, but it's not actually going to stop us from winning the game here. It's a pain in the sense that it wastes some time here, but it's alright. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Response. Crater Hoof Behemoth. Trigger. Combat. Declare attack. Attack for 1 billion. Very nice. Very long game, very very good top deck in the Nature's Rhythm. I mean, they did a lot of things and accomplished nothing, honestly. That was kind of the opposite of what our last opponent did, where they did not very much, but their Ultima just destroyed us. Still don't know how to feel about Disdainful Stroke against them. It seems kind of middling. I think I like Unable to Scream. Given that they do have the way to flicker the whatever you scream, I think it's still fine. Curator's bad. Deals with Shiko, but that's not good enough, I think. Meltstriders is middling. At least 2 of the seam rips can get cut. Detect seemed nice. Let's bring in 1 stroke. I think Oko might be okay, but I'm not sure. Fungus. Fungus only really kills seam rip, and I don't think that's worth it. I think I just like this. This is just fine. We just have to draw better than we did last match. Maybe our opponent draws a little worse. This matchup seems kind of tough. They just have a ton of removal and a pretty good engine to kill you with pretty quickly. Legend of Kuruk is really weak against us, just in general, but outside of that, most of their deck is pretty strong, it seems. If they don't have the card that flickers, the new Turtles card that our other opponent was playing, it's probably not that bad. Because they can't stick their Riddlers and kill our creatures. It's a lot. They have to choose one or the other instead of doing both like our last opponent was. It's too slow. This is better. This is just not good though. Okay, this is great. This and Rhythm. I think it's Rhythm. You definitely could be bottom Riddler over Rhythm because we don't have the blue source. You have to use Gene Pollinator, which might die, but I don't know, they rolled a 5? No, they kept 7. Okay. Yeah, the Riddler is just super strong if we get to cast it. It just unmulligans us. Okay, there's a blue source, very nice. If we don't draw another land, we should be able to Warp Ruler to draw 2 cards on turn 3 and untap our Leyline Weaver, really strong. If we draw a land, it's still possible, I guess, if we draw a land and we draw a really cheap card next to it. Let's shock this in on blue. So we know we're gonna have to pay life for it for Riddler next turn anyway. So might as well. There might be something that could punish us for this attack, but they're clearly F6'd. Might have a Pyroclasm, kind of feels like it, yeah. It's a lot of land, uh-oh. Okay, let's do this. Next turn we can just hardcast it if we untap with this Leyline Weaver. I don't really want to hardcast it though, I'd rather just warp it, play out whatever I draw, and then hardcast it the following turn. Get like 4 cards out of it. They have their own Riddler, so this is gonna kill ours. Kill our Leyline Weaver and flicker itself. Man, both game ones our opponent didn't have this sequence at all and they just kind of didn't do anything. And this sequence is just so unbeatable. It's absurdly strong. Man, another land, god damn. I think maybe we're just not winning this game ever with this draw. See, maybe we draw Bedroll. I don't know, sure. I mean, this hand is horrible. A shock land and a tap lands. Could even be regular lands. Could even be Verges. This spot is just atrocious. They have 5 cards in their hand. I can't imagine we're ever winning from here. I didn't realize this was both. You could choose both. This card is way stronger than I originally thought. Just wrecked us there. Man. Yep. Now we're not even gonna get to draw 2 off our Riddler. Protect. Let's just go next. We could deploy our Riddler there in theory, but they just have infinite cards and we have nothing. I'm not sure Detect is even that good. On the play. Let's bring in Disdainful Stroke and cut Detect, I think. Let's do this. This hand kind of sucks, but it's fine. I don't know. If they don't have Seam Rip, we're in a good spot. Or Burst Lightning or whatever. It's just that they very likely do is kind of the weakness of our hand. We can deal with an Ashling though. We can deal with a Riddler. We have a payoff. I don't know. Maybe this hand isn't great. It's interesting though, for sure. Nature's Rhythm is such a cool card. These Jeskai Blink decks are just taking over every format in Modern the other day. I think I played like 12 matches and 8 of them were against Jeskai Blink with Casey whatever from the new set. I think I beat it like 7 times probably. Like I lost once to May French. And I think I beat everybody else. Maybe I didn't lose to May, I don't remember. I might have beat May also. I don't recall. Opponent molds to 5, this is good for us, especially if we can Disdainful Stroke their Riddler. We kind of want to prioritize that, I think, then. Like, if we have a close decision between holding up our Disdainful Stroke and playing out a creature, we should just hold up our Stroke, probably. Damn. Now we're off down. Rip. Another land is pretty bad. We're good. They just passed. That's manageable. Another Disdainful Stroke is also pretty bad, but maybe, I mean, that one at least probably has some utility. I don't know, if this game just goes nowhere, then I guess just having a bunch of lands will be nice. Land sure. Like, I would cast Nature's Rhythm maybe, but it's clearly gonna, whatever we get is dying, and I'll just hold up my Disdainful Stroke in case they have a more relevant play. Also I'm kind of happy just to draw a bunch of lands in a row and then go get Gear Hulk. Gear Hulk is gonna be nice here for getting like Mockingbirds hopefully. It'd be hard for them to kill probably unless they have like a raid or something. Uh-oh, they drew a land. That's kind of scary. Winter Night Stories, that's not good. Now they might be able to do the Riddler thing. Riddler flicker and eat our guy, even if we get Gear Hulk here. Good news is if they do that, then they just go Chico. Makes sense. Card's pretty weak against us. If they do that, then we can Mockingbird their Riddler, I guess. Island, okay. Yes, let's pay 2 high. Let's get Gear Hulk, I think. Gear Hulk's better than Ouroboros here. I don't know, let's find out. We have twice as much mana as them, which is nice. Very nice. Love to see it. Yes, let's get Mockingbird is definitely one of them. We already have an answer to their creature, so I think we just get double Mockingbird. Yeah, we can deal with their Riddler with an Unable to Scream, and then we can also Mockingbird copy it. Oh, that just passed. They didn't find a land in all of that. That's kind of crazy. Okay, let's go get another Gear Hulk, I guess. So we could also get an Ouroboros, maybe? Do I have no more lines? No. Ouroboros or Gear Hulk? I think it's actually Ouroboros. Now we have Disdainful Stroke up so they can't Riddler scam us. Okay, resolves, that's good. Could have held up white mana and tapped our forest, I kind of forgot. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Seems as though they definitely, not seems, they just definitely should have done that on their turn. Would have not allowed us to make this play at all. It was face up, the Rhythm was in the yard. Maybe they had an Essence Scatter and that's what they were thinking, or they wanted us to jam the Mockingbird, but the Nature's Rhythm's face up there. It would be like really nonsensical of me to just jam a Mockingbird for no reason in that spot. Ooh, another Gear Hulk. It's definitely worse draws. I'm not really interested in doing anything here though. Another Get Lost? Okay. I suppose I'll just Gear Hulk then. This kind of plays into their Riddler plan, but I think we can deal with that stuff fine. Let's go get Lanor Elf. We have so many cards in our hand, and we have more mana than them. I think we're okay here. If they keep drawing lands and they have card advantages in their hand, they might be able to dig out of it. Like, they do have a Winter Knight in their yard, so we do need to like close the door quickly here. Can't just sit here forever, but okay. It's not the worst. I mean, I would have liked to Disdainful Stroke that, but it's okay. Could have avoided that by not mapping last turn. I guess we could have just cast Gear Hulk and passed. I don't know. It's interesting. If we had one more mana, it would have been easier. If we have if we draw a land here also, it'll be nice for not that land, but as you say, it'd be nice to just cast Riddler here. That's Elf, and let's just map onto the Elf a bunch. I'm not gonna mill that over. I think I'm happy to draw Leyline Weaver. I think I'm just gonna pass and double Disdainful Stroke up, maybe? I guess no, I'm happy to make my Lanor Elf huge. Ginormous Lanor Elf. Go. This next turn we can go like Leyline Weaver and copy it with a Mockingbird and hold up Disdainful Stroke still, even if we have to cast one here. Like, I will disdainful stroke this. I don't want them to do their scam play on us. That's kind of the downside of growing our Llanowar Elf there, is it gets blown out by a removal spell still. Doesn't get killed by burst lightning, which is nice. Uh-oh. 2 of them. Is that all 4? No, that's 3 of them. They have a red land, they can do it. That's pretty good. So they can't scam the Riddler into play, I believe, anymore, but they still have a ton of cards in their hand. Either 5 or 6, depending on what they discard. He's got a Clarion Conqueror. Wow, that's crazy, because that card is absurdly good against us. I guess it does nothing against our board. Wow, they mill over. Jeez, that's a lot of card advantage. Let's deploy our Leyline Weaver. Let's copy it. Yeah, this is fine. And let's hit them in the face. We can kind of pop off next turn, hopefully. They have a Riddler on Warp. They have 2 Winter Knights in their yard still. They have 6 cards in their hand. They have a lot of cards. Maybe I underestimated the amount of card advantage they have with these Winter Knights. I'm not sure Winter Knight is actually that good in their deck, actually. Like, it's been cool a few times with Riddler, but it is not the greatest card. Wow, that is a horrible card, but you're quite good on this board. It's nice with Seamrib. Yeah, I think the turn that I kind of threw the game here might just be the turn that I didn't just Gear Hulk, I mapped first. That might cost us the game here, we'll see. This looks like an unable to scream target. Ooh, a Cub. That's really nice. Scream. Cub. This would have been nice to see earlier. This is the first Cub we've seen in like 10 turns. 11 turns, I guess. Let's copy this, animate here, no response. Haven't played a land yet this turn, so we can still draw a blue land to hold up our disdainful stroke. Draw another Riddler. Okay, a little awkward, but it does mean if they have a board wipe of some kind, we can follow up with a Riddler still. And that one warps out. I definitely didn't forget about that. So we actually have quite a bit of card advantage here. Okay. One Seam Rip isn't very scary. Let's see if they have multiple. Oh, sure. That's nice. Still have a Seam Rip on deck we can draw to deal with theirs. Ashling, okay. So now they can cast the Riddler and draw 2. It's really strong. Here he is, yep. Pretty far behind now. Get in for 3. You really need to draw like a Nature's Rhythm, probably. Gene is definitely the worst. Probably the worst draw in our entire deck, actually. Just say the worst non-land card, but a land would be better here, I think. Okay, there's a Rhythm, a little late now. I think let's copy Ashling. Discard our Disdainful Stroke. It's a little late now. Okay, nice. So let's put this on blue. Yes. That's really strong. Do this here. Then do we have lethal? We might. A ton of mana now. Oh, I need to pay a life into that. 6. We can make 9. It's 1 short of true lethal. Can we have a Mockingbird still in our deck? Let's see. There's one Mockingbird under this. There's a Mockingbird here. I think there's one in our deck. No, this is a Mockingbird. So there's no Mockingbird in our deck, so we can't tutor up with that. If we do X is 0, let's see. So if we do X is 0, it goes to our graveyard. Then Riddler pays for it still, only goes X is 7. The best we can do is get Aura Boarded unless I'm missing something. We could also just cast this Quantum Riddler we have 4, because that might be better. Draws a ton of cards. Oh. Tap that wrong. So let's tap this. Seems fine. Okay, another Nature's Rhythm's nice. X is 2, I think we just get Leyline Weaver. You don't want to animate more of our lands here. Jeez. Yeah, so we have 2 Riddlers, an Ouroboros, and a Craterhoof as our tutor targets. Okay, I think that's all we can do. That was a nice draw. Blue land plus a removal spell for Conqueror was pretty nice there. This has been a really good game. This matchup seems hard. They have so much stuff they can do. Guessing they can find a Pyroclasm with these 2 Winter Knights probably. I mean, the upside is if they find a Pyroclasm, we still have 2 Nature's Rhythms and another Riddler, so we still have more stuff to do. We're just going to run out of like total threats in our deck. We're just going to eventually have no cards in our deck that matter. They'll have ground through almost all of them. I think the turn that I Bright Glassed incorrectly with that map might cost us here because it costs us a 4/4 and a 4/4 is irrelevant threat. Like the 4/4 might have hit them for 8 more damage this game or something. Okay, let me tank for quite a while this turn. Yep, there's the Pyroclasm. We have the exact same board now, except their Riddler's tapped. I'm guessing our spot is a little bit better than theirs here, but maybe not. This is quite the game. They're gonna run out of time pretty soon. They gotta hurry up a little, I think. They have a Riddler maybe Shiko. A Shiko, yeah, that's really strong. To recast like Clearing Conqueror or get lost on our Quantum Riddler or something like that. If we had a Leyline Weaver in play, I think we'd be able to win on our turn, but not quite from here. I don't know how many Badger Moles we actually have left. Do we only have 2 or 3? We have 3 Badger Moles left in our deck, so that'd be a nice draw. At least I think it would, I don't know. Okay, Riddler down. They're still playing their turn. They should probably hurry up and do something. Okay. This has been a 5-minute turn from them. Like a 4-minute turn, but still quite long when you only have 8 minutes on your clock. This is a crazy attack. It makes sense though. I'm not trading. I need my Ashling here. We draw Craterhoof Behemoth. What just happened? Oh, this can't transform even though it's a copy. That makes Ashling so much worse. For some reason, tokens that are copies can transform, and in my head I thought it could transform. So we deleted 1 mana, unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think it matters. I think we can't win here either way. Like we can play Craterhoof and we can hit them for 8. We would die, so it's not a very good line. Let's deploy our Quantum Riddler. I guess I want to leave Starting Town untapped. Yeah, let's leave Starting Town untapped. I think we have Detect Intrusion we can draw, and that's it. That's blue, but it's still worth it. Leyline Weaver's nice. Ashling is flying, so it's also a blocker. Let's explore... Let's explore an Ashling, I guess? I don't know. Quantum Riddler on top. No, let's leave that there, I guess. I don't know if that's right, but I might just need to only leave Badge and Cup on top. I might be making a mistake. This is okay though. Hopefully Crater Hoof will just win next turn, we'll find out. What a game, it's a crazy game. Okay. Take red mana. Can't be good. If it was blue mana, at least it would just be a Riddler, and I'm not very afraid of Riddlers. Red mana means it's probably the board wipe card. Oh, Pyroclasm, okay. So that kills exactly Leyline Weaver. They could play a Riddler now and it would be quite strong and draw 3 cards. Braid, wow, okay. If they have another spell to kill a creature, we're just dead. Okay. Well, I mean, the Ashling is a free attack. Okay, they see it. That's good. We're gonna block their Quantum Riddler, I think. Oh. They don't want to trade away their Riddler. Interesting. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could in theory play out Riddler and Craterhoof, and that would leave me with quite a lot. Let's see, if I could warp into play a 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana left. I could Nature's Rhythm out a Cub, so I'd have 5, 6 mana, play land, so that's play land, 4 for Nature's Rhythm. Man, let's trade, yeah. It's quite close. Do we have an Ouroboros left in our deck? I think we do. So we could go get Ouroboros. It's not that good. We have a Leyline Weaver left, I think. Yeah, we have 1 Leyline Weaver left. So there's 1 under here. Okay, well, let's hardcast our Riddler, I guess. Don't love it, but it is what it is. We get to draw a lot of cards next turn. Seam Rip, okay. Seam Rip can get back Unable to Scream, which can go on to Quantum Riddler. That seems nice. So this would go into Forest. Yes, and let's get Leyline Weaver, I think. Okay, we should be able to win next turn finally if we untap with this Leyline Weaver. We should draw 2 with Riddler. Yeah, Seam Rip was a very good draw. Kind of forgot it was there. They discard a land, they play a land. How do they have nothing? We just steal the game there? This is an insane game. This is one of the best games I've ever played. This is something that only ever happens in Standard too. What a format. Amazing format, the People's format. Okay, let's figure this out. Untap Leyline Weaver. We have a counter spell up, which is nice. Counter deal with anything. They might have a counterspell in their hand as their last card. It also is, it's probably a land, but it could be a counterspell. Okay. Target this. No response. Maybe it's a shock. I don't know. If it's a shock, it should have targeted Leyline Weaver surely, but maybe. No, okay. Maybe they're just bluffing also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to tap 1 more mana. We can't tap colorless with Starting Town, that doesn't work. This seems fine. Rhythm, tap here, and done. Okay, now our clock is red too. Uh-oh. Crazy game, crazy game. Okay. Animate here. No response. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oof. We have to hold up our detect intrusion still. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Resolved, that's good. That's step 1. Okay, let's map here. Oh, they concede! We didn't even get our satisfying moment of attacking. Wow, GG, what a crazy game. That was a really good game, wow. Man. Yeah, that was one of the best games I've ever played for sure. Bet their last card was a land. Yeah, that seam rip stole the game right at the end. I think I could have won that game a lot easier if I hadn't messed up with the bright glass on like turn 5 or whatever. That was a mistake. I should have just held, or it wasn't turn 5, it was like turn 8 maybe, or turn 7. But I should have held up the disdainful stroke that one turn. But man, wow. Still worked out, never punished, GG's. Okay, this hand's interesting. I think it's a keep. It's kind of on the lower end of our hands as well though. Let's see. See if we can draw a 1-drop if our opponent plays their own land or elf. They played Chocobo. Okay, I think this matchup's kind of nice for us. Leyline Weaver. Leyline Weaver is quite strong. We're just gonna Breeding Pool tapped and pass. We could copy the Chocobo, but I don't think we need it. I think I'd rather save the Mockingbird to copy Badger Mole on turn 3. We can go like Leyline Weaver on 2 here, into double Badger Mole on 3. They have their own Badger Mole, it's pretty scary. Here's a Weaver. So if our Weaver dies to like a fight spell here, it'd be really hard for us to win the game, I think. We kind of need to have it survive to really go off. Survives, we're in a decent spot because we get to cast our Gear Hulk and hopefully kill something next turn. Okay, they just hard cast Harmonizer. No blocks. Okay, another land is definitely not a good draw. We can just kill the Harmonizer though here with our Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I think it's worth it. I'm gonna play this so I just don't take damage instead of the Starting Town. We have enough lands in our hand that I think we'll be okay with our Starting Town entering tapped later. So this will untap the Weaver, and we can go get not Might Form Harmonizer, what is it called? Melt Strider's Resolve. Let's get Melt Striders, and we can get a Seam Rip, or we can get a Mockingbird. I could just get a Mockingbird. And let's kill the Harmonizer. Next turn we can Mockingbird the Bright Glass Gear Hulk or their Badger Mole Cub if we'd like, and we can go find like a Seam Rip and put it on the Chocobo. So hopefully that doesn't get too out of hand too quickly. So Earthbender's Ascension maybe? Also could be an Archdruid's Charm, which could just exile Gear Hulk. has the Exile and Artifact or Enchantment mode. Okay, it looks like it's the Ascension. So, they still have 2 mana because Badgermole makes their forest tap for extra. Now they have 3 mana. Chocobo's getting rather large. Okay, it looks like they're just passing here. You could have a protection spell up maybe. You could also still have Archdruid's Charm. It's a little... Well, it's actually really weird if they have Archdruid's Charm and they chose not to get rid of the Gearhulk. They might forget that this is an artifact. Which is, I mean, plausible. I think I could have tapped better here. I could have left this untapped. Tapped the Weaver here. It might have been stronger. It's okay. Or just tapped the Verge maybe, not clear. Okay, this will untap. We can copy the Gearhulk. Let's get Seam Rip for sure. And I think just another Mockingbird. You can also just get 2 Seam Rips. It's not unreasonable. I think I'm just gonna get another Mockingbird though. Let's see if this resolves. Seam Rip here. You could Seam Rip on the Badgermole Cub, but I think I'm more afraid of Chocobo plus them having like Mindform Harmonizer and the Ascension giving it Trample. I think that's the most likely way we lose. And I'll hit them with the Gearhulk, because I think our way of winning the game here is just going to be beating them to death with our Gearhulks, our Mockingbird Gearhulks. It has Trample, so this isn't a great block, but it does trigger Earthbender's Ascension again, which may be what they're thinking. Uh-oh, there's an Ice Till, yep. They have a fetch land in their hand? They do, wow, that's really strong. Okay, good news is we can Mockingbird Gearhulk, and then we can go get another Seam Rip and a Unable to Scream to put on the Ice Till and Seam Rip and Badgermole. So we can't deal with their whole board here, which is nice. This will still have counters on it, we can't deal with that. So Unable to Scream doesn't actually remove the counters, but it will at least make it so that they can't just keep playing out a ton of lands. Our Gearhooks also have first strike, so they do have to have a lot of lands to make their things not die to first strike damage. This one also has flying, which is nice. These ones all have flying next turn. Draw another land. It's not great. Let's tap for 4. Let's Mockingbird. Copy Ice Till. I don't think we really want to. Get Seam Rip and Unable to Scream. Seam Rip the Badgermole Cub. Okay, Pale on Life here, Unable to Scream. Okay. And Mockingbird again. Hold on, you said I want to tap Gearhulk. I want to tap Seam Rip. Untap our Leyline Reaver. There's no more Mockingbirds in our deck, unfortunately. We can get Seam Rip and Llanowar Elves. Let's play this out tapped. Let's deploy the Llanowar Elf. This guy doesn't have a good attack, they'll just block here, so let's just attack with the Flyer and pass. Next turn we should have lethal. Barring something crazy happening, which is always possible with Mindform Harmonizer and Earthbender's Ascension and whatnot. Okay, yeah, another Ice Till. Ice Till's more beatable than a Harmonizer for sure. They have a Bossing Say. Okay, that's kind of nice. Currently have 12 in the air. They have 3 blockers, and we have 2 more coming through. Yeah, so we should have lethal through this no matter how they distribute their counters. I guess they could Bossing Say onto a Fabled Passage and maybe keep themselves alive that way. Because they won't actually take trample damage from Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I don't know if they're actually able to do it though. Do they have another land drop? Oh yeah, if they tap their forest then they won't be able to. Yeah, so now they're just dead on board. So these 3 get through, so they go to 2, and then they get to block 1, 2, and this, and they take 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be pretty dead then. Yeah, so it looks like they were still dead even if we didn't draw the Badgermole Cup there. They have a lot of abilities to click through. It's not going to save them. There's a bug in my room again. It says they lose the game twice on there, that's funny. Okay, I think this matchup is pretty good. This is one of the reasons to play our deck, is the Landfall matchup is just quite nice. I think the Beza is too slow. The Disdainful Strokes could be decent. They have like 4 Milt Striders resolve in their deck that we have to think about, but other than that, their sideboard isn't great against us, I don't think. I'm not sure what I feel about Disdainful Stroke in this matchup. Curator's pretty middling. Honestly, that's really the only middling card in our deck. So maybe we just don't play these Disdainful Strokes, we just want to go over the top of them. The Disdainful Strokes are pretty awkward to hold up at times. Yeah, I think on the draw we can trim a land. Is that really true? That might not be true. I guess I think the old version of the deck actually had 22 lands and a 23rd in the sideboard, not 21, 22. So I think actually we do want to keep the land. And for a while I was boarding out 1 Riddler, and then I decided it wasn't worth it at one point. I don't know what I think of that again. The Riddler is definitely like fine. It's definitely good. I don't know if I need 4. Mockingbird's great in this matchup because they have a lot of things we can copy. Rhythm, we just need to draw a lot. We want all of our 1-drops. I think we want all of our 2-drops. Yeah, let's try trimming a Riddler. So I'll just stick with what I was doing before. The matchup's kind of fast, and the games don't usually come down to like the Riddler grind because they'll go over the top of you with the Ice Till stuff, but Riddler still isn't bad. I don't want to like cut them from my deck. It's still nice to refill on a Riddler, refuel with it on like turn 3 after you dump your hand. Okay, let's keep a bottom Craterhoof. Hopefully they play out a Llanowar Elf on 1, that would make our hand better. Or if they just play out a Badger Cub, then our turn 3 will be stronger also. Nope, they just have a fetch land, okay. We draw a Seam Rip, sure. Let's play Temple Garden tapped. It's marginally better than playing the Hollowed Fountain tapped, because if we draw like a Starting Town or something like that, we wouldn't have to shock in our Temple Garden to make painless green mana. Okay, they do have a Badger Mole. Copy their, or animate their Promising Vein. Okay, we actually have a pretty nice play here, I think. Yeah, that seems good. I'm able to scream on this guy. And let's Seam Rip the Badger Mole. Be nice to draw a land here. You can always use Mockingbird on Promising Vein as a land. You get to attack for 1, so it has a plus counter on it. It still comes back even though it has no abilities, if it dies. Okay, let's copy it. I don't love copying a colorless land, but like, it's not the worst. If we find a Badger Cub, then we can always animate onto the Promising Vein and sack it to make it into real mana. It's possible we weren't supposed to Seam Rip the Badger Cub just because we have Mockingbird. I'm not actually sure. It's a little awkward because we still can't cast a Bright Glass Gear Hulk even if we didn't Seam Rip. Because we would have 3 green mana and 1 white mana if we animated with Mockingbird. Or if we copied and animated with Badger Mole as a Mockingbird. Mockingbird is a Badger Mole, same thing. Okay, Earthbender's Ascension, it's nice. So put it back onto the Promising Vein. We go get another land, yep. Get him for 3. Should be a 3/5, shouldn't it? Why is it a 3/3? Oh, because it got Earthbent onto and it transformed it into a 0/0 again. I see. That's pretty cool. I didn't think about that. That's really funny. Okay, let's go get our Badger Cub. So let's animate the Promising Vein. It is flying. And let's just cast another Leyline Weaver. We can probably win the game next turn if we get to untap with all these creatures. We'll see if we do. Okay, they have the Sapling Nursery. See, I think most versions have cut their Sapling Nurseries, but it's pretty good here. Okay, they just pass. So they have no mana up. Draw land. We get to make a kind of cool play here. We can tap these and then cast this for 4, and it actually makes more mana than if we just cast it for 2, because it untaps the Weavers. So the Mockingbird ends up actually being free, which is pretty cool. Shock this in. Okay. Grab Maelstrider's Resolve. And well, maybe we just grab 2 creatures to increase the Craterhoof power. So 1, 2, 3. This is. I don't think it matters. I think we actually have super lethal either way. Let's just get Wall Minerals, I guess. Spend 1 here, and the rest can go into this. guess actually we can do it a little bit better. We can tap this Llanowar Elves, save our 1 mana to cast Melt Striders after. This is 8. We can tap these guys. Here's our Craterhoof Behemoth. And we'll have Craterhoof Behemoth fight their creature, and then we should have lethal. We have lethal without the fight as well, but this is more fun this way. They go to -37, okay, we win. Yeah, I think our Landfall matchup's pretty good. We kind of demonstrated it there. It's the main reason to play this deck, I think. I think the Prowess matchup's pretty close. I think we're like maybe slightly ahead against Prowess, and we're pretty far ahead against Landfall. It honestly just leaves the deck at being pretty good, I think. It might be among the best decks in the format. I have to play more against the Prowess deck to really know what I think of that matchup. I've only played it a few times, but every time I play from the Prowess side, I feel pretty behind. And the Cub side is like, you can definitely draw bad, but their threats aren't nearly as sticky against you as they are against Landfall because you have so much more removal. I think your Hulk is so strong against them. Match 5, we're on the draw. For a pretty middling 7. I think in general this deck mulligans pretty well, because of Riddler especially. You can just go to 5, and a 5 with Riddler is better than a middling 7. This hand is quite nice. Just get rid of a Nature's Rhythm. We have a pretty strong curve here. Okay, it's mono white Momo. I don't know a ton about this matchup, but I do know that Clarion Conqueror is quite strong against us. We could have copied Momo there, it would have been interesting. It's not very good, because our only flying creature is the Mockingbird, but it's kind of cool. If they have Clarion Conquerors in their main deck, we're in a bit of trouble. Seam Rip is good against us. Oh, they have the blue-white version. Played against this earlier, they had Riddler. That was the only blue card I saw out of them, I think. Let's deploy the Weaver. Getting Weaver down is really important for our Nature's Rhythm. It makes it make a lot more mana. Okay, here's the Riddler. See if they have a way to flicker it, maybe. Maybe they're just looking for a land drop. Or they just have nothing better to do. Play a tap land, they go to combat. I'm not going to block here. Early Line Weaver is really important to our game plan here, I think. That's a nice draw. Let's go get a Badgermole Cub. It'll untap the Leyline Weaver, and then we can cast the other one from our hand. Next turn we should hopefully have lethal. Let's get the Cub, animate here. Cast another Weaver. Might be just a bit short of lethal if we don't have another 4-drop, but I have to count. This is 6 mana, we would play a Hollow Fountain, animate here. 3, 6, 9, 12. No, it actually is lethal next turn, I believe. Currently, if nothing happens. We can just play this as a Badgermole Cub and then Nature's Rhythm. Tap all of our mana creatures and go get Craterhoof Behemoth and attack for lethal. Wouldn't be surprised if our board doesn't stay intact here though. Okay, Cosmic Land. Let's see if they have a follow-up. Springleaf Drum, okay. So they kind of have to have a Seam Rip after this to stay alive. It's pretty unlikely they have a Seam Rip considering they didn't cast it last turn. And they had 1 mana up. They probably just drew this drum. Maybe they held it for the Cosmic Rain, it's not obvious. We'll do the same thing as last game where we tap these Weavers. We overpay for Mockingbird to make it costless mana. This is 3. Yeah, this is fine. So we'll copy here. Animate this. Response. We have 3, 7. This is 10, 11, 12. This should be lethal here. Tap this. Play around a Spell Pierce or something here. There's Crater Hoof. And let's attack. Nice, this is a good turn 4 kill. We haven't had any turn 3s yet, maybe we had one. We've just been playing a pretty slow version of our deck, which is funny. Okay, against their deck we need the maximum number of ways to kill Clarion Conqueror. It's their best card against us by a lot. I think Sage of the Skies is alright. It's not amazing though. They can outgrow it pretty quickly. We could consider bringing it in. Keen-Eye Curator comes out again. Poor guy. I think Seam Rips are alright. I think I'm gonna trim one probably. Mockingbirds are decent. We could consider cutting like a dork of some kind. I think I'm gonna cut Gene Pollinators, just like 2 of them. Could consider trimming in Natures with them. We don't have a I don't think I want to because it can go get Gearhulk. We don't have a super effective way to kill Clarion Conqueror with Natures for them. The first version of this deck and the one I played at the Pro Tour played one Explosive Prodigy that you could go get. That was quite nice for killing Conqueror. The problem with Prodigy is just such a clunky card. You can only really cast it off of mana dorks like Weaver and Gene and Starting Town. It's pretty hard to cast off of Multiversal Passage unless you just draw the Multiversal Passage later. Which one of these? I think I'm gonna go down 1 Sage. I'm not even sure Sage is good. It might just be worse than Gene Pollinator, but I'm gonna try a couple Sages. It is just like a flying blocker that's kind of nice through Clarion Conqueror. I think Bright Glass Gearhulk is just probably our best card in this matchup. I'd imagine the Simic version is a much harder time against Momo without the Gearhulk. The Gearhulk seems extremely strong against their sideboard plan. This hand's nice. I mean, it gets Clarion conquered, but so do all of our hands. We have a Riddler to kind of try and bridge the gap between our mid game and our late game here. I think I'll go turn 1 Gene Pollinator, probably instead of Llanowar Elf. It's like shocking on green Gene. That way if it gets Seam Ripped, then we still have a full mana source in our Llanowar Elf, whereas this isn't really a mana source except on these early turns where we're playing creatures that are summoning sick. Okay, looks like they kept 6. Let's see if they have the Momo. They have the drum, okay. Sage is pretty cool here. Do you want to put it on planes? I was thinking of playing our Momo for some reason for a second. It's Gene first. Next turn we can go Llanowar Elves into Leyline Weaver, or vice versa. Just play a tapped land, so I'm guessing this is a Clarion Conqueror. This is pretty suspicious if not. I don't think changes our plan. Let's play Leyline Weaver first in case they have a removal spell. This is more important to get into play here. Okay, let's deploy Llanowar Elf. Pass. If it is a Conqueror, we can play out a Leyline Weaver and stop it from attacking us at the very least. Maybe stem the bleeding for a few turns before we hopefully draw a removal spell. Starting Town is nice here, it lets us cast either of our removal spells. Okay, okay. Still alive. This could be a strong turn for Sage of the Skies. Okay, so they missed their land drops. They still could definitely have the Conqueror. Let's... I think I'm gonna... Gene Pollinator into Sage here. Seems kind of nice. This will make white, so you don't have to pay any life for that. It's kind of unfortunate. The sages don't actually attack very well into a conqueror. Maybe they're kind of weak because of that. Okay, they found their land. They shock it in on white. Here's presumably the Clarion Conqueror. Maybe not, maybe a 2-drop. You might have multiple 2-drops here. No, okay, they do have the Conqueror. Unfortunate. Nature's Rhythm, okay, a little late. Let's just play out Weaver and pass. If we draw some lands, we should be able to deploy this Riddler as a draw 2, which will hopefully propel us forward into being able to just dump a bunch of resources into play. Be great to stall the board for long enough that we can Nature's Rhythm for a Gear Hulk if possible, or just draw one. Be nice if they just cast a Momo that we could Mockingbird. They have another Conqueror? Oh, they have a Cosmic Grand. Okay, it's not a bad target for our Mockingbird. If they let us. They can't activate Springleaf Drum, I didn't think about that. Okay, land is nice. I think land, and let's Mockingbird their Cosmic Grand Zenith. We're pretty likely to be able to cast multiple spells in a turn next turn, starting next turn. And putting a counter on our whole board will be very strong with the amount of creatures we have in play. They draw land. 4 mana, maybe an Avatar's Wrath? That would be quite strong here. Yeah, I don't know if we can beat that. Wow, and they have another spell after, jeez. That is crazy. Yeah. Kind of an awkward order on those because they had to Wrath before anything so that they could use the drum. Okay, we can't play these this turn. I think we just Riddler. We just need to find a way to deal with Clarion Conqueror mostly. I don't think we're going to be able to though. Okay, let's deploy Leyline Weaver. You get to cast 2 more spells next turn, which is kind of scary. Grow their board. So Mockingbird off of Avatar's Wrath costs 2 mana, so we can copy a 2-drop. We can't copy the Cosmic Grand again though, unfortunately. Interesting, I think they did that in the wrong order. Unless they're playing a card from hand. If they're playing Hylia, then they did that in the wrong order. Maybe they are playing a card from hand then. Oh no, interesting. I think they could have gained enough life here to draw a card with this. I guess if they're putting counters, then they don't need to, so maybe that was the thought. Okay, I'm not gonna block, because I think our way out of this game might just be drawing an answer to the Clarion Conqueror here. Let's do that. And let's Mockingbird, and I guess maybe it's stronger to actually Sage here. I could see it. Yeah, I actually think I like Sage more now that I think about it. And let's see, we have blue, green, green. Let's put this on white. White lets us hard cast a Gear Hulk without taking damage here. If we draw an Unable to Scream, I think we might be able to win. We're draw Melt Strider's Resolve, it's a little bit more complicated. You might just have to chump with these Sage of the Skies instead of trying to like actually use them to maneuver the combat. They just go straight to combat, so they don't activate their stuff. They attack with Clarion. This is very odd. Not sure what this means, because I will definitely block all of my creatures onto this Clarion if it kills it. So like we could just do this. If they have a removal spell and the Clarion doesn't die. We do this though. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming at our face. Could be 8 if they have 2 spells here. We might just have another Avatar's Wrath perhaps. Interesting. Yeah, so this looks like an Avatar's Wrath probably, otherwise the way that they killed our blockers there doesn't make much sense. It's a pretty strong play. We do get to Rhythm. Hopefully we draw a land. Oh, they have a Conqueror. Okay, interesting. Uh-oh, and a second spell. It's kind of interesting that they didn't do this beforehand and put more counters out. Oh, I guess they needed to unlock the Springleaf Drum was maybe the thought. Draw a land. Okay, still just need to draw an Unable to Scream here and we're set. We're pretty dead in the water otherwise, I think. Draw a land or elf. That's not it. Okay. Is there a way for us to survive? I'm gonna take a peek at our deck and see if I'm forgetting any tutor targets. I don't think I am, but it might be. I mean, Ouroborid would be the one we're looking for, but we can't get that here, obviously. Yeah, let's set up and see if we can just hope to draw again next turn. We really just have to draw the Unable to Scream, so let's just set up to try and do that. Just like assume it's on top of our deck and play like that. They have a Riddler on Warp they can cast. They have another Zenith, Cosmic Rain Zenith, that's very scary. Probably have another spell in the hand, the way they play that so quickly. Yeah, uh-oh. And a Sage, okay. I mean, I guess the Sage isn't the worst, it's much better than if they had a second Conqueror. Okay, so you need to put 2 counters out on the board. So we have to block 3 creatures here. So the Sage will gain us 2 life to 11, so we can take 10 damage this turn and still survive. Let's see how they attack. They might just not attack too aggressively because in their mind maybe the only way they can die is okay, so they don't want to trade off the Conqueror, so they're not going to attack with that. But they are going to attack with it. The only way to win is if they attack with this Conqueror, so this is a little interesting of an attack. Only real way to win, at least, I think. We can block like this, take 10. Our Sage survives. We kill the 2 Leyline Weavers, probably. Not sure if this is better or worse than just trying to draw an Unable to Scream. So you go like 1, 2, 3, 4. Cub, untap, animate. 1, 2, 3, 4, animate. We'll have 6 mana and 2 cubs out. Which lets us go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 2. Get a 3rd cub. have 2 floating. Untap. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get a 4th cub, untap. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. It's just short, I think. We're like 3 mana short. If we draw a land, then we probably have lethal this way. Draw an untapped land, which there are very few of in our deck, to be fair. Also, if we draw a Badgermole Cub, we might have lethal. Okay, let's do it. If they assign their damage wrong on the Sage of the Skies here, then we'll definitely win. Unfortunate. There's very few untapped lands that we can play while we're at 1 life here. Seam Rip. Okay, that does nothing, I believe. It gets Leyline Weaver, that's not very helpful. This is a colorless land because we're at such low life. It's Rhythm. So Cub, animate here. Here is fine. Nothing over here that matters. Tap. So Cub here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. Untap. Yeah, so we're just short here. We have 6, 8. We can go get Gearhulk and fight something down, but I think we're just dead anyway, even though this will gain life and we'll get to block a bunch of things. I think we're just a little bit short. So can't even make white mana here, unfortunately. Yeah, if we had an untapped land, we could have animated it with that Badgermole and had another 4 mana, and then we'd have lethal. Let's see if I'm forgetting something. Get Oro. It doesn't save us, right? Because we'll gain 3 life. We can block 4 creatures, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we take 14, so we're dead by like 10 damage that way. If I copy Mockingbird on Hushwood Verge, I don't think it quite does anything. Can Gearhulk. Gearhulk can go get 2 blockers. Is Gearhulk getting 2 blockers keep us alive? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have 6 blockers. Oh, that's just short. Wow, that's really close. Could fight down a creature. It doesn't quite do anything. I think we were just barely dead here in a lot of different ways. That was a really close game. It was a really good game, actually. So now we're on the play. They did miss the Clarion Conqueror for a turn there, which is kind of like us being on the play. I don't think much changes here. I wasn't super convinced by the Sages. I think I might just want to do this. Yeah, let's try it without the Sages. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I'll have to play more games with Sage in my deck in this matchup. It's also possible we just need to play a Explosive Prodigy in our sideboard for this matchup. We just need a way to kill Clarion Conqueror now that's actually seeing like real play. I think this hand is not a keep in this matchup. I think it's probably a keep in many matchups. This is better. Just bottom a seam rip. I mean, we are missing pieces here for sure, but we have the Gear Hulk to kind of get the ball rolling, hopefully, and kind of have a cascading effect over the game where we start to dump a whole bunch of creatures into play with it. And we'll look into 5. Yeah, so we need to draw like a land, maybe a Leyline Weaver or a Badgermole Cub or something. Hopefully if we draw another dork, then Gene eats the seam rip, not the other dork that we draw. I'd much rather lose my Gene. Okay, so let's play out Verge first because it's painless. If they play Momo, we can use the Burning Pool to turn on the Verge. We have Drum, okay. Could consider eating the Drum. I think drawing Badgermole Cub makes you want to do that. I don't know. Seems nice. I think we just want to kind of decelerate their draw and then curve into this Bright Glass Gear Hulk here. Let's animate Hushwood Verge, I believe. Let's check for white and just seam rip. Gear Hulk will probably go find like Unable to Scream and a Mockingbird. That is if we get to Gear Hulk here. We'll see. We might get lost our Badgermole Cub. Parting Gust. So they're gonna gift a tapped fish to us. Okay. Don't draw a land, which is pretty unfortunate. Yeah, if we draw a land, we'd be in a really good spot here. I think I'm just gonna Nature's Rhythm for a Mockingbird as a copy of Hushwood Verge. Seems fine. That helps us play through Clarion Conqueror. We still have access to the Nature's Rhythm if we need to use it to like find lethal later. Or to go get a Badgermole or whatever. 2 mana. So this is not a Clarion Conqueror. Okay, looks like they're missing a land probably. We need to be aware of Avatar's Wrath for sure. Go get Momo. Okay, I guess they had a land. They just needed a something to do here, which Momo will give them. Okay, Rhythm again is pretty nice. It's not quite worth it to Rhythm for a Cub here, I think. It's a little bit better to Gear Hulk. Be great to draw a land still. Gear Hulk sadly can't get lands. So I think I want Unable to Scream Mockingbird probably. Unable to Scream deals with Conqueror. It's not a great answer through Avatar's Wrath, so maybe we're supposed to get Melstriders over it, but I think I just get Mockingbird for sure. I think Unable to Scream is fine. I don't know. We can always just Mockingbird for whichever one we don't get here. They have another land on blue. The Riddler, that's pretty strong. They follow this up with a Conqueror. This is kind of a crazy turn. Conqueror is actually pretty annoying because it eats one of our mana for our turn, stops us from rhythming for Badgermole. Looks like they don't have a good follow-up. They might have a removal spell for Bright Glass Gear Hulk that we need to think about before we Mockingbird. Great to draw a land here. Okay, we do. It's a little unfortunate. If we Mockingbird and they just kill Brightgast Gearhulk, then our Mockingbird is really bad. So it kind of makes me want to just Nature's Rhythm. Yeah, I think I just Nature's Rhythm for Badgermole Cub. We could also just get Leyline Weaver, that might be better. I think maybe Leyline Weaver is just better. Yeah, let's do that. Weaver will let us cast these 2 Nature's Rhythms and this Mockingbird much easier. We already have double white, we have blue. This is either on green or on blue. I think we put it on blue. It's a little awkward if they Avatar's Wrath and we don't have a way to cast back the Nature's Rhythms because we'll have only 3 lands that make green, but we have 3 blue cards in our hand. So I think we have to just put this out on blue. Pass. I guess we'll attack with our 2 creatures, but that will pass. We're gonna win this damage race currently. They have a Riddler they can recast, but they have a flash creature. They have a Parting Gust. Okay. So good thing we didn't go for the Mockingbird angle. Interesting. Parting Gust is pretty nice with Riddler, I guess. Like they could have, if they didn't want to deal with our creature there, which they did, but in theory they could have Parting Gusted their Riddler and scammed it into play. This is a pretty nice turn for them just to hardcast Riddler here, or Starfield Shepherd. Riddler draws 2 cards though if they play out something first. Costs 1 less mana. So just play 1 from hand, that's pretty strong. To draw 2. See if they can find an Avatar's Wrath or something. Our board looks a little bit more impressive than it is because the fish tokens take up so much space. Still, if we untap the Leyline Weaver, we're just in a good spot either way. So they attack with Momo. At least I think they will. Yep. So we're not going to block, even though it is unfortunate if they have Avatar's Wrath. The Leyline Weaver is too important to our game plan, I think. We just pass, which is interesting. So they might have Parting Gust or Get Lost or something. They also could have like Disdainful Stroke. It's not unreasonable. It's interesting. I'm not sure I want to do this. There's a lot of options. Oops. So we're going like, I think it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1 here, and we'll convoke this. Badgermole. Badgermole will give us 4 mana. Then if they counter this, I'm just gonna Mockingbird Leyline Weaver. If they don't counter it, I'll probably Mockingbird Badgermole Cub. Kind of are running out of relevant things to do. We have just a Nature's Rhythm. She'll probably go get like a Riddler or a Gearhulk or something. Probably Gearhulk. Bounce Off is kind of nice protection against an Avatar's Wrath. If they do it wrong, we'll just bounce off their creature they target and it fizzles the Avatar's Wrath. It's a really grindy game. We're both using up a lot of our clock. Okay, looks like this is a disdainful strike probably. Oh, detect intrusion, sure. No response. So this will untap. I think I'm just gonna Mockingbird on the Leyline Weaver. I suspect they would have Avatar's Wrath last turn if they had it. Oh, we could have attacked for 1 there. Oh well. Might be more valuable to save my clock by a few seconds anyway. It's less stress. This looks like an Avatar's Wrath. Maybe a Quantum Riddler? They do have a Quantum Riddler on Warp that costs blue 2 and 2. Maybe what's happening. Looks like it. So I'm not gonna block Momo, as scary as it is to keep taking damage here. So that tapped land, interesting. So they don't have a Parting Gust or a Get Lost or anything. Can always bounce this Quantum Riddler if we need to. We draw a tapped land, a little unfortunate. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Untap these. And we can go get like Fight Spell Llanowar Elves and fight down Momo. In the following turn we can have it unable to scream on Riddler. Seems okay. Maybe it's just Ouroboros? Ouroboros is quite strong. I think it's still Gearhulk. I'm honestly not sure though, it's very close. Let's get Mockingbird, Meltstrider's Resolve. Okay. Let's Meltstrider's Resolve onto probably just the Gearhulk. Fight this down. Let's Sheen Pollinator and play tap land. We have to take 4 from this Riddler no matter what here, but we're in a pretty nice spot after this. Uh-oh, that's scary. Let's have another one to follow up. They have a Conquer, jeez, that's really strong. Let's see if they go for counters or tokens. I think they probably have to go for tokens if they don't want their board to get like, we can just go wide, yeah. Make tokens. They have another Riddler and Warp, which is kind of scary. Draw another tap land, that's pretty weak. Okay, let's Scream on Conqueror. Then let's go 1, 2, 3. Well, maybe we're supposed to copy Riddler. I could see it actually. It's not unreasonable to just copy Riddler. This, tap land, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I like this more. Tap. We can always bounce off our own creature to recopy again. Copy here, draw 2. Okay, we do draw a Badgermole Cub. I was just gonna say Badgermole would be a nice draw here. Okay, let's see. So now we can go like, I think I like this line. Cub, Animate here. Tap here for blue. Bounce off our Quantum Riddler Mockingbird. Then the question is whether we want another Riddler or if we want a Bright Glass Gearhulk. So you could do either. I think I want a Bright Glass Gearhulk plus an Unable to Scream on theirs. Tap. Copy here. Seam Rip, I guess, is maybe better than Llanowar Elves. It's not obviously, but it'll be a little bit better. And let's Scream their Riddler. Okay, and then this one is flying. They have nothing with flying. This is just a big creature. Yeah. We do have to be mindful of Abandoned Air Temple here. That is Trample. So it's not a very good block. Okay, they probably forgot that. It is really hard to read the Gearhulk when it has that ugly art. It's not ugly, it's just very odd. The background choice color of yellow is quite an odd one. Looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card to me. It actually looks really cool, it's just very jarring. They draw land, okay. They have a Riddler on Warp. So they'll probably cast that here. Draw 2. And they might be able to trigger Cosmogrand after that. They might have a copy of the farmhand creature that can blow up the oh, they have a Mockingbird, that's cool. So they can Mockingbird the Clarion Conqueror here. And they can put counters out probably. Oh, they make 1/1s. Oh, what a game. So this is gonna be a Clarion Conqueror, yep. It's pretty strong. We need to kind of draw a Riddler here, I think. Nature's Rhythm, close. Would have been really, really good last turn. Okay, I guess we'll Rhythm for 2. Just get Leyline Weaver, I suppose. Say tap land. Then we have this with flying and first strike. Let's just pass. Next turn we can Rhythm for 4, for 5. So we can tap the Gearhulk to pay for part of the cost. Can get us a Quantum Riddler. We can win if we find a way to deal with Clarion Conqueror. I don't know that we have any anymore. They might all be on the board already. I'm not sure that we have a way to put Maelstrom Resolve back in our hand. I don't think we do. They play a tap land. They're going to deploy their Riddler here, I think. Yep. Riddler's quite strong on this board. It's huge. It also gets through our Bright Glass Gearhulk. They draw like a removal spell or a counter spell, they're in a really good position. 3 mana, maybe another Conqueror. Maybe a Cosmogrand. It's a Cosmogrand, that's scary. Probably putting counters out this time. Okay, yep. Let's see if they remember our Gearhulk is flying. They do, okay. Draw land. Let's tap the one that doesn't have flying. Oh, to pay a life. I'll have to redo that whole thing, waste a bunch of our clock. Green, 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 blue, green. Take a damage. Quantum Riddler is a little bit better than getting an Ouroboros. Maybe not. Yeah, that could definitely be wrong. It's just, they're gonna have a bunch of flyers we have to be able to beat. They get to put 2 counters on the whole board every turn. So I think we're actually almost dead. Just like right now, straight up. You get to put 3 counters out if they have enough cheap spells, because they can also activate Abandon Your Temple. Oh man, if they have Avatar's Wrath, this is crazy. Yo, wow, okay. I don't think we can beat that. We get to deploy like all of their cards back. We do not. That's crazy, yeah. Wow, GG. Well, unfortunate to lose that one, but that was a really good match. We had 2 really good matches in this, honestly. That was a lot of fun. This deck is really sick. Yeah, I think some better play, it's possible I could have won our matches, and some better knowledge of what my opponents were doing. I think maybe we can tinker with the sideboard a little bit. I think if we had a Explosive Prodigy in our deck, we would have won that last match. I think definitely would have won game 3, probably would have won game 2. I'd have to rewatch it though, it's very possible. They had all the answers, I don't quite recall. But yeah, I like the deck a lot. I'll probably continue to play with it. It seems quite strong. Anyway, thank you for watching. Either this video or the video I did with Prowess will be out first. If you haven't seen my video on Izzet Prowess, I just played a league with that. I did quite well, so go give that a watch, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.